Is The Rock good for wrestling? And also, we have to talk about should Mariah May want to go to WWE and more. But first, gotta hit you with that intro.
All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the WeBook It podcast. Let's start the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the We Book It podcast. I am your host, Virgil. And guys, tonight is just this special episode. It's just a dynamic duo. That's right. Me and the workhorse, the man that does it all for the podcast. That's right. Me and Coach. What's up, Coachman?
Virgil, I am doing well, man. I had a great day today because my St. Louis Blues tied up the series against the Winnipeg Jets. So I am on cloud nine right now. Just enjoying some baseball. I'm watching your Cubs, seeing if they can make a comeback here.
Yeah, well, the Phillies just put somebody in the game that's an ERA of 13. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
The odds might be in our favor. We'll see. Oh man. But yeah, man, there's been a lot going on in wrestling. Obviously we are coming off the heels of an underwhelming WrestleMania, but the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania both delivered in major ways. And I started having this outlook and started trying to figure out about WrestleMania this year and the booking and like who should take the blame? Because at first, my first thought process was, okay, I'm blaming The Rock. All right. You said you were going to be there. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to be a part of this show. You hooked us literally last year at Bad Blood, and the story arc was supposed to be you and Cody. Then they reinserted you back into the story arc at Elimination Chamber with John Cena. Everybody's expecting you to show up. You don't show up, so you leave us hanging. But then The Rock goes on Pat McAfee's podcast the Monday after WrestleMania, and he explains that they knew he wasn't going to be able to be a part of WrestleMania this year, and that basically he was asked to come and help for ticket sales with the storyline, and so that's what caused him to come to come show up at Elimination Chamber. He also did say in this that he also wanted the storyline to be focused on John Cena's heel turn and not on him. Which I guess give him credit for that. But a lot of people I talk to that know that I watch wrestling and know that I cover wrestling, all like were asking me like, what the heck? Like what was that? Why no Rock? You know, everything like that. So then my mind went to, okay, is Triple H and Nick Khan, are they depending, or are they going to the old faithful? You know, like I said, if ticket sales are down or the hype is down, just call in, a major star and ask that major star to come save the day and get you ticket sales and everything like that. And that's kind of where my mind went. So it's kind of almost to the thought process of, I have two sides of this. Is The Rock good for wrestling or not? And I guess it's on the heels of, does him being there, does it cause WWE and TKO to depend on him too much? Or is he also inserting himself into storylines that he just didn't need to be in? What are your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, I agree. There's two sides to every story, and I think there's two sides to this. I do want to point out the Elimination Chamber story because that's been kind of, I won't say debunked, but they've said that it's not exactly true what he was saying about ticket sales. So when somebody posted a screenshot of when they bought their Elimination Chamber tickets, and this was, I don't know, probably right before Royal Rumble,
Right.
when it happened. and they were fairly decent priced for them, but they still had tickets available, obviously, but it wasn't as severe as you would think. I think
Right.
maybe just a couple of hundred of tickets were still available.
Okay.
So when that was brought to that point, it's like, okay, so ticket sales weren't the best. I mean, ticket sales were fine, but you're saying you wanted to insert into it just to save the ticket sales. That something's not adding up for that one. And I think that
Right.
I don't know, man. I really think it's more TKO over managing instead of trusting the employees or the writers or however you want to do it. I don't think it's necessarily all on The Rock. I think The Rock definitely plays some part into it, but I think it's mainly the TKO group trying to overcompensate for not, I won't say being patient, but not seeing the immediate result that they want to see, like just from one
Right.
thing. Because if you look at this past year, they have been fairly good at staying out of their stuff, but come this WrestleMania season, it seems like they've been getting their hands in a lot of the storylines.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's obviously not good for booking purposes and for fan interaction. I mean, you probably see that as why the buildup was so lackluster and stale, because it did feel like they were trying to force something. And I don't think it was, and maybe it was Triple H, maybe it wasn't, but it just felt like there were some things in past Triple H booking that you would look at and say, okay, that doesn't sound like him, what he's doing. Because you think back to NXT Black and Gold days when he was booking. I mean, it was something different all the time with him,
Yeah.
and that was what
Yeah.
everyone got in. And so far, when he first started taking over head of creative, it's been like that. But this past couple months, it seems like it's stale, and you wonder if it's because the TKO group is wanting to insert certain stars knowing they're going to get the most money out of it instead
Yeah.
of letting the story play out. I'm not saying this is what happened with like Jey Uso is a prime example. I'm not saying like I thought his call to win the Royal Rumble was great and it was a nice surprise, but I wonder if that was the TKO group saying, okay, well, he is the most over person and let's try and get him ticket sales and everything, but it didn't pan out the way that they thought it would, so they tried to rush the storyline with Gunther and it just didn't
Right.
feel right.
Yeah. To that point, I would absolutely agree with you. I think Jey Uso winning the Rumble, the choice to have Jey Uso win the Rumble, and the choice to have Jey Uso go over at Mania and win the world title was literally a money grab. Again, and that's not saying he don't deserve it. I'm just saying you could have got the same reaction with him winning the IC championship as
Mm-hmm.
as him winning the World Heavyweight Championship. When you got CM Punk, when you got Seth Rollins, when you got Roman Reigns, and granted, this was a great way to wrap up the blood the bloodline story arc, which is the last big money making story arc that Vince McMahon will be known for.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrap that up, you close that. You still got the tribal chief, but everybody's turned on him. Everybody's walked away. Everybody's doing their own thing now. However, at the same time, you also have to look and realize that you had John. Dude, there were so many big money matches here and so many big money things that could have happened instead. So you could have done John Cena versus Gunther. You could have done, you could have done CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. I mean, there was so much money to be made at this Mania that you did not have to depend on The Rock. You didn't even have to turn John Cena heel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I mean, for John Cena's on his way out, and like I said, I mean, it was a great shock value the night of Elimination Chamber, but since then his heel turn has been underwhelming. I mean, it's not been great. I've not enjoyed it. I mean, the like I guess the reasoning for his heel turn and the reason that they're using and going with, I'm just like, okay. I mean, yeah, it's the fans' fault because the fans have hated you for the past 20 years. But I mean, come on, you could do better than that, you know. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just been all underwhelming, all underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that's what you again go back to the cash grab of maybe this is what fans wanted to see the heel turn because we've been claiming for it for the last 25 years or the last 20 years, I should say, for that heel turn. And but they're not capitalizing on it. The match itself, I think creatively they're doing the best that they can given what they're working with, but it's not sticking right now. Now I am excited for Backlash because it's looking like we're getting Orton and Cena for the championship,
Right.
and totally fine with that. I think that's a great call. But going on to the future, like how are we going to extend this out more? Because it's as it keeps going forward, it sounds like Cena's contradicting himself from his initial promo when he came off of his heel turn of
Right.
I'm going to ruin wrestling. Okay, that's awesome. I want to see that. I'm going to take that championship home with me. Okay, awesome. Let's see it. Well, then you show up the next day and it's like, okay, then like I was expecting more of a CM Punk kind of thing when
Right.
he gets the championship and then he just straight up leaves. But he still has
Right.
his. I do like though that he's saying he's fulfilling out the contract terms or whatever he's got, and there's the countdown with the dates of how many he has left. So maybe that's kind of the saving grace with that. But maybe
Yep.
I was just expecting a little bit more of
Well, I
this
mean,
heel Cena.
and the problem is that I think it's like WWE is overthinking this heel turn, and maybe even John Cena might be overthinking this heel turn, and he's like, no, you want new music, you want new gear, you you want you want to heal John Cena. No, you're not going to get a heel John Cena. You're going to get the same music, the same loud t-shirts, different t-shirts in every town, the same John Cena. I'm just going to saunter down to the ring. I'm going to talk to you in a condescending voice, and I'm going to walk out. And most times he's getting laid out flat every single week. So, I
Very
mean,
true.
like I said, I mean, he just doesn't look strong at all. It's like, dude, like, y'all could have kept this. You could have kept this. We didn't need this. Let John Cena win the World Heavyweight Championship, beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, have somebody cash in on him at Money in the Bank, whoever you want to have cash in on Money in the Bank. Then John Cena could do a couple tag matches and fly off into the sunset. Like I said, you didn't have to do this. I'm totally disgusted with this. And again, I mean, again, like him and Orton is going to be a banger. They'll probably do him versus Punk at Money in the Bank, in California, which will be great. Like I said, and then you know, after that, I'm guessing Cody comes back and wins back the WWE Championship in Boston. He beats John in John's hometown of Boston
Mm-hmm.
in his last final match. And he takes back the WWE Championship. However, somebody else cashes in on Cody that night and takes that WWE Championship from him after he beats John Cena.
Ooh, I
So
like that.
yeah, I think, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get another lengthy Cody run. Like I said, so
One
somebody
thing,
else gonna take that belt from him.
yeah, one thing I actually kind of toyed with the idea with I was talking with Big Daddy C about that was you could have to make that match a little bit better for Cena and Rhodes. Why not try for a double turn like
Yeah,
WrestleMania 17 with Rock and Hogan, or literally the match that was just inducted into the Hall of Fame with Stone Cold and Bret Hart. Like
yep,
that was the pure definition of a solid double turn where Hart turned heel and Austin became the babyface. You could have easily done something like that.
absolutely.
Have Cody just go a little bit too far of taking out Cena and Cena still overcoming the odds, but getting the crowd on. I mean, the crowd was already on Cena's side, anyways. So you
Yeah.
might as well call an audible at that point. And I was really, really hoping for a double turn because I think it would have been great, but I understand why they didn't because Cody is still the face of the company and they're probably going to wait and see with this time off how the company's going to be without Cody uh, being QB1. And then
Yeah.
maybe they'll make that decision of, okay, we have enough strong baby faces to where we can maybe turn them heel, or okay, we don't have enough baby faces, we have to keep Cody the same. And I really think you can make a. There are some strong baby face characters right now for WWE, but they're not main event level guys. And I think that's where they need to focus on is getting those mid card baby faces like an LA Knight into that world title picture.
They have to move him to that. That's the thing. So right now, LA Knight, guys like LA Knight, guys like Drew McIntyre, guys like that should be fighting for world championships. Your Mellows, the guys that just got called up from NXT from the last year and a half probably are your guys that should be fighting for Intercontinental and US championships. Like I said, but LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, I mean, and you can even go as far as to say Braun Breaker. Those guys are should be fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, no offense to Jey Uso, I'm happy for him. He is not a World Heavyweight Champion. He just isn't. And I really pray that they don't screw something up by making him hold that title for a long time. I would not mind having Braun be the World Heavyweight Champion and having Seth be the WWE Champion at the same time and having Paul Heyman manage both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that to me would be amazing because then they can go to both shows. They literally run the WWE and they're both champions at the same time. Like, Braun Breaker beat the hell out of Jey Uso, take the world championship from him, have Seth Rollins win the Money in the Bank, cash in and become WWE champion, like I said, and then boom, there you go. Both champs, both running things, and that's what you run with into the next year's Mania is who can come take down this new version of the two-man power trip. And my God, you if you want, you can give Becky a belt too, Like I said, and put her with them and create a new dangerous alliance. But yeah, I mean this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm currently looking at the main or not just the main roster, but just the roster in general on WWE.com, and I'm just looking. I'm waiting for a name to really pop out that has been it kind of stuck in the mid card, but needs to be on the kind of the main event. I mean, you said it with Drew McIntyre, but again, that's a heel. LA Knight would probably be the only baby face right now, and I'm looking for that person who is a baby face. I think when Dragunov comes back from from his injury, I think he can make a really strong push for a main event spot. I understand what they're doing with Fatu. They're kind of testing the waters here to see how he does with this reign, and then I would just strap a rocket on him and send him straight to the top. But that's
But mark my words, WrestleMania 42 for the World Heavyweight Championship, Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu. Book it, it's money. You don't even need a build up, just two ass kickers with that this is in their blood, their family heritage. You got what I mean? Fatu.
But yeah, I'm still looking, and I mean, there's nobody that's standing out that needs a put. I mean, I would love for Montez Ford to get a singles run, but he's killing it right now with Dawkins and with the Street Profits. So I don't really want to mess anything up there for him. And there's really, man, I think I'm more flabbergasted by how there's not enough strong baby faces, like in the main
Yeah.
event scene.
You
Randy
got
Orton is
Roman
right
and you
now.
got Punks. You got Roman, Punk, Orton, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and technically you could throw Sami Zayn in there when he comes back.
Okay.
He is a main eventer.
Yep. His name just popped up here. So, yes, I would qualify that. Sheamus, when he gets back, that'll be big.
Oh man, I forgot about Shamo.
I know. Um,
Sheamus.
that's pretty much it. Apparently, Titus O'Neil is still on the roster. That's interesting.
Millions of dollars. Oh man,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
no,
that's it. So that's five. That's five babyface wrestlers, and we have how many heel wrestlers in the main event scene, or
yeah,
we
bro.
should have, or
Everybody,
have that quality of being in the main event.
right? Yeah, I mean, you lost Rollins because he was technically a babyface, and you lost Breaker because Breaker was technically a babyface too. So you lost both of them, moved them over to the bad side. So yeah, WWE's got to move some of these guys over as baby faces or upgrade them to main event baby faces. I know WWE would tell me Priest is a baby face too, and that he's a main eventer, even though he's a former world champion. I still look at him as a mid card guy. I look at him holding that world title just like I look at Jey Uso holding that world title. I don't believe you're a main eventer yet. Just like I didn't believe Edge was a main eventer, even though he held the Money in the Bank briefcase for a year, even though he cashed it in on John Cena and won his first WWE championship, and he lost it 3 weeks later. I still don't believe that he is a main eventer. I didn't believe he was a main eventer. It took a couple times, and it takes that for some guys, you know. Like I said, so I mean, it's all about presentation. So how you present them is how we'll view them, and we have to buy into what you're presenting.
Correct.
So, speaking of buying in, I'm taking all the stock and buying in on who to watch for in wrestling with Coach.
I'm still mute. There we go. Okay, I'm back. I was muted there for a second. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we look into the future of both WWE and AEW, there's a couple of veterans that are making their return, and it's going to be something storyline wise that is going to elevate not only the factions that they are a part of, but also the individual as well. So let's start on the female side. We got in WWE, Alexa Bliss is scheduled to make her comeback on SmackDown this coming Friday. And the rumor is that she will be leading the Wyatt Six and be their new group leader. Now, that is something we have been very excited for, and I am hoping that they have a great entrance like they did when we were first introduced to them in the summertime. I'm not saying that I want to see somebody get murdered like Chad Gable was, which I really felt like they could have done more with that storyline, but I digress.
Oh, absolutely. They dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah. Either way, it's something that it could have been much better, but either way, this is for the redemption right now, and they are going to do a great job. This is something fans have been really looking forward to, and that is Alexa Bliss coming back. Now over into AEW, it's something that I won't even say that it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It looks like this faction might be breaking up, but either way, it's still looking strong despite the turmoil, and that is thanks to Nick Wayne doing a great job of holding his own against his quote unquote father, Christian Cage. And this storytelling by both Cage and Wayne are they're both doing a great job. This is gonna, I think, eventually lead to a match between both of them. Right now, Nick Wayne is the Ring of Honor World TV Champion. I would not be surprised if once Cage gets kind of done with the chase with not only Adam Cole and TNT Championship or even Moxley and the AEW World Championship, that he will feel like he is going to go after that Ring of Honor TV Championship, thus breaking up the patriarchy. But again, Nick Wayne, he has been doing a really, really good job, not only in ring, but also in the backstage work as well with the backstage segment. So definitely keep an eye on those two heading in to this week. And that's who to watch for this week in wrestling.
Thank you for that. Who to watch for in wrestling. And just as an aside to that, yo, listen, let me tell you something. Christian Cage is cold-blooded, man. He told that man that he told Nick Wayne that he celebrated with his mom. It said celebrated championship win with his mom all night, bro. I'm like, oh, that's cold. That's cold to tell somebody. You got Christian Cage being the ultimate heel, man. I'm telling you.
I love it.
Sticking with AEW, let's talk about somebody that is potentially on her way out of AEW. Rumors have been swirling that Mariah May is done with AEW. She finished up after she finished her story with Tony Storm, and that she is all but WWE bound. With Mariah May coming to WWE, I guess a couple of questions is, should she want to come to WWE? Would you send her to NXT, or are you allowing her to debut straight up as a WWE superstar? And how would you book her once she got there?
Ooh, man, what was the first part of the question again? I'm sorry.
I've obviously she probably wants to go to WWE. Are you sending her to NXT first, or are you going to allow her to just debut on the main roster, kind of like you did Jade?
Oh, okay. So I thought there was something in addition to that question. So yeah, with Mariah May, that is intriguing, and I think it's a tough call on if it should be an NXT or a main roster call up, because right now the NXT women's division is pretty packed.
Yeah.
Now, and unlike Ricky Saints and Ethan Page and Sean Spears, all the male wrestlers that came over from AEW, they never really had a title run in AEW. So this was kind of WWE's way of saying, like, hey, let's see what you got first down here, since you didn't really get a chance to prove it. Show us what you got, and then we'll kind of go from there. And I think it's been a good formula for those three so far. Now, for Mariah May, because she's already had a championship run, and not just a mid-card title, she's had a main card title. I think it makes it a little bit, I think it makes it a little bit different. I think this isn't, no offense to Jade Cargill, this is not a Jade Cargill situation to where she's still green in the ring and everything. Mariah May has showed that she is very capable of leading a match. And you saw that with her title reign before Tony Storm came back and won it. She was pretty much dictating how each match was going. She would set the pace, and I think that's a very strong characteristic for her. Now, going forward, me personally, I think put her on the main roster. And she's a big enough name, too, at that point. Whereas Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Sean Spears, Sean Spears, everyone remembers him as Ty Dillinger. So when you have him coming back in his own name, Perfect 10, of course. When you have him coming back with his original name, it's kind of like, okay, we kind of have to start over. But Mariah May, you hear that name, that immediately speaks. And if she were to come to the main roster, which I think she will, I think it just depends on who is holding the title on the Raw side of
Mm.
for the women's heavyweight championship. I don't want to say the WWE Women's Championship because
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know.
It's crowded over there.
Yeah, it is. And Nia Jax is back in the picture, and it's looking like
Mm.
Bianca's gonna kind of stay over on the SmackDown side, even though with Jade and Naomi and all of that. And then that's not even including some other wrestlers or some other female wrestlers. But on the women's side on Raw, you really only have three people, and that's Becky, Rhea, and Io.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Bayley's on SmackDown, so never mind. So yeah, that's pretty much all you have there. So I think it
Right.
just depends on who's holding that title on Raw to have her be that first uh, rivalry per se. I think the more intriguing one would be Becky Lynch. I think that would be a really good rivalry. It doesn't have to be for a title, but I think a good initial rivalry for her to start and then get her into the title picture with either
Mm.
Io, Rhea, or whoever they're going to go with for that.
And you can also have her mix it up. Have Mariah May mix it up. Have her have. So I'm with you completely. Bring her up to the main roster to answer the first part. Second part, have her debut at the 2 night extravaganza SummerSlam and
Mm-hmm.
have her win the Women's Intercontinental Championship that night.
Ooh, okay.
Have her win the IC championship that night. Immediately put a title on her. Have her look like a star the first night. Again, WWE has to get back into the mode of creating stars. Like I said, I know guys are wrestlers, and I understand that pro wrestling is cool again, once again, to be a pro wrestler and everything like that. But guys have to also be stars because tickets still got to be sold here. That was
Mm-hmm.
that was one thing Vince McMahon understood about the wrestling business, I think, versus this Triple H era, is that business still has to be done. And you want to be as mainstream as possible. That's why you see guys like Travis Scott. That's why you see Bad Bunny. That's why you see Drake at the shows. That's why you see different things like that. You see, all these popular people that love wrestling, love pro wrestling at its core. We can all love pro wrestling at its core. Tickets still got to be sold, and it still got to be mainstream. So WWE has to start building up stars. And Mariah May, she has the talent, she has the promo skills, she can cut the promo, she's beautiful, she can go toe to toe with anybody, and it's believable. Again, like I said, you got your superstar right there. Like I said, Mariah May versus Rhea Ripley can feed families for generations. Like I said, so there's some good things that you have here if you're able to sign Mariah May to a deal. And like I said, you put that IC strap on her, and like I said, you send her to the moon. I also do think um that the juggernaut on NXT won't be there much longer either. Like I said, I think that's a pit stop for her. I think Triple H is very high on her.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they'll end up moving her up to the main roster, so she'll be kind of bidding for the IC title. But you got people like Ivy Nile. You got Zoe Stark. You got Shayna Baszler. That IC championship title picture could get, like I said, could get crowded, and then that allows you to push women up to that world title picture.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like I said, so there's a lot of women that should be vying for that IC championship. Like I said, and then once what's her face gets back, when she stops getting injured, uh, gosh, what's her name? I'm blanking on her name right now. She dated Shayna
Dakota.
Baszler.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dakota
Dakota
Kai.
Kai. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, to me, Dakota Kai looks like, what I'm saying, like when she comes back, she could also be an IC Women's Champion too.
Oh,
So
for sure.
again, like I said, it's a lot of women that could be vying for that IC Championship that can also allow you to push some of them up. I also expect Asuka to come back and be on that Raw show and to turn on Kairi Sane. I've
Mm-hmm.
played that out in my head a million times, and I suspect those two will end up going for the Women's World Championship. That will be a match. Those two versus each other, the end of Damage Control and like I said, and with her returning and misting Kari Sane. I'm sorry, not Kari Sane. Or yeah, she can miss Kari Sane,
You're thinking of
but
EO.
well, miss Kari Sane and then attack EO. Is
Okay.
what I was trying to get at with that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the women's title picture on Raw could get interesting. People just got to get back healthy, man. So whenever Asuka's ready to come back, I mean, it'll be great. That was it. You didn't have anything else? Oh, you're muted or I can't hear you. No. Did we lose Coachman? Did we lose the Coachman? Well, since we lost the Coachman for a second, I guess it's time for us to go ahead and do Big Daddy's Baddie of the Week. All right, good people. So, Baddie of the Week this week goes to you to Miss Caution herself. That's right, Naomi. Naomi had herself another heck of a week, another heck of a showing. She had a good match with Jade Cargill on she had a good match with Jade Cargill on on Saturday night of WrestleMania, and then obviously came back and attacked her again on Friday Night SmackDown, jumping all on top of her and just trying to beat her down. And like I said, it was one of those things where it was crazy. It was a crazy moment for WWE. And like I said, and the fans are totally buying into Naomi as a heel character. She's living this heel character gimmick, and she is really, really enjoying her time as a heel. I mean, she's healing it up on X. If you guys don't follow her on X, it's hilarious. She's doing some of her best work on X. And then, of course, she also is one of the must-see heels on Friday Night SmackDown. So yeah, Naomi, not only are you beautiful, but you are vicious. And I hope that they end up giving you that U.S. Women's Championship. Zelina Vega won it on SmackDown. I full on expect you to be the one to take that U.S. Championship from her. And yeah, and rock it with pride, man. You earned it. You deserve it. That U.S. Women's Championship, a workman's title. Yep. So that is your baddie of the week, Naomi. Yeah, he's back with me.
Sorry about that. I was getting a phone call and I was trying to end it and everything. I'm like, stop, but it wouldn't go away. So I was like, hang on, let me deal with this.
Yeah, all good, brother, all good. So the next topic I have for you tonight is who should want to go to AEW when their contract expires. So we talked about Mariah May in the last segment wanting to come to WWE, but WWE is getting kind of crowded, bro. And I look at Collision, I look at ROH, I look at Dynamite, and you know, like I said, I'm obviously Dynamite is the most complete show out of all of them, but I look at Collision especially, and I'm like, as talent, you can see an opportunity there where you're like, not only can I go there, and I know Tony Khan's gonna pay me a boatload of money because he's a mark. But then on top of that, I can literally be the guy on Collision or a guy on Collision. Because, I mean, I think Collision right now is supposed to be built around Adam Copeland mostly. But like I said, I mean, you know, you can go on there. You can carve out a good spot for yourself on Collision and really get some shine over there too, you know, and build up your worth. And then when you go back to WWE, you're there. They're like, okay, I got to use them right this time. Who would you say on the WWE roster needs to go to AEW the most, or should want to go to AEW where there's an opportunity to really shine?
Oh man, that's a tough one because I mean, there's one guy that kind of comes to mind, but he's kind of I don't want to think he's at the tail end of his career, but I mean he's been around for quite some time, and I'm thinking of Apollo Crews.
Okay.
I think maybe I know they toyed with the idea of him being with Bobby Lashley in WWE, and
Right.
maybe he comes in with the Hurt Syndicate and everything like that. For if he makes that jump to AEW, now I think he is very happy where he is in WWE, and I think that's where you might run into some issues for if that were to happen. I don't think he's going to make the move, but he would be
Right.
the first guy I think of that really should leave WWE. And another guy, Omos. I
Yeah.
mean, there is not a strong figure like that in AEW. And no, I'm
Right.
not counting Big Bill. I am not counting that. That is not a strong figure. That is just a guy who happens to be tall. Um,
And you can't teach that.
teach that exactly. But if you have a guy the size of Omos coming in, I think you could do some really good storytelling and matches with him. Maybe set him up on that. Um, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Um, maybe have him on the track that Wardlord was supposed to be on before he got
Gotcha.
injured. Yeah, just something like that. I think it would be really beneficial for them. But I think both of those guys are very happy where they are in WWE. They get paid very well to be ambassadors, and maybe
Yep.
that's all they want. But those are the two guys for sure
Yeah.
that stand out to me.
So, the obvious one of all of them would be Karrion Kross, if you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
to go back to Killer Kross, to be able to be unleashed in AEW and to be able to do what he wants to do. Him and Scarlett will have a field day there. The problem is, and this is where Tony Khan pisses me off, the AEW world title is held up by Moxley, man, and it sucks. Like, it's horrible. It's like holding back what could be such good wrestling. Like, if there was somebody else that had the championship that MJF could get close to, like that MJF and Hurt Syndicate storyline, bro. If you just add the world title into it, and it would be so good. Like every
Mm-hmm.
week, it's only a couple segments I really go to AEW to watch. Anything with MJF, anything with the Hurt Syndicate, bro, is money. I'm telling you, it's so good. And then obviously whatever Christian Cage does is great too. But like I said, but for me, just Moxley holding that title at bay, it's ruining AEW. But you put somebody like Killer Kross in AEW, and him being able to just really be himself in there and speak a little bit more freely. I think that he would benefit dividends from leaving WWE and going to AEW. I just do. I think it would do wonders for his career. I don't know if Tony will be able to fully book him right, but Cross is smart, and Cross would probably ask for some type of creative control in his contract, and Tony would be such a mark, he'd give it to him. So,
Mm-hmm.
to me, Karrion Kross going over that way, I know before. I know we kind of touched on this topic before, and we talked about the possibility of the New Day going that way. Well, they just got new life with those World Tag Team titles on Raw. Hopefully, they can make them mean something, and they get a little bit more TV time on Raw. So that kind of axes out the New Day. But I'm also gonna look at somebody that AEW is missing, because with the news of Daniel Bryan, not I mean, so news came out that Daniel Bryan said that, in an interview, that his neck is pretty jacked up, and
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not that he can't wrestle anymore, but it's to the point where it's like, okay, you keep going into the ring like this, you're going to ruin the quality of life for yourself in the future, if you continue to keep wrestling, even though your neck is this messed up. You got to stack a neck for it. You got to stack of dimes for a neck. So, who is the closest thing to what Daniel Bryan was? And I'm looking at Sami Zayn. And I'm thinking that Sami Zayn going to AEW and being uh the version of Daniel Bryan over there, pure wrestler, pure athlete. Like I said, can work strong style if you need him to. Also could be a luchador, obviously El Generico. Like I said, and could do so many different things, in the wrestling business. And just like I said, I mean, him and Kevin Owens, but before this stuff happened with Randy Orton coming back, I thought Kevin Owens had run his course in WWE too, and I was like, man, it might be time for him to go to AEW or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just for new fresh coat of paint, kick the tires in a new company and have some new some new leeway. And Kevin Steen, like I said, bring back Steen, bring back El Generico. Send both of those guys over that way. But I mean, like I said, I think Sami Zayn is getting ready to turn heel again in WWE and probably be the one to either cost Jay the the world title, or be the one to beat him for that world title. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Sami Zayn would be that next in line kind of situation if he were to go to AEW, to kind of be that Daniel Bryan-esque or
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson-esque type wrestler.
Yep. All right, so folks, our final topic of the night. I don't know if you guys have seen the Chris Van Vliet interviews that he's been doing, but he had an interview drop kind of over WrestleMania weekend. It was an interview with Bayley. And Chris asked Bayley a lot of questions, and Bayley was very candid, very open with Chris about her positioning in WWE and where she stands within the company, and why she isn't used as much, and why she isn't featured prominently on posters like Becky or like Charlotte or even like Tiffany or Jade or anybody like that. And how she kind of got pushed to the side so that Becky could make her return. And they had this big storyline set up for Becky where she turns on the IC champ. And I assume they're getting ready to start feuding for that IC title. Those two, they're going to beat each other up for that. And Bayley's just kind of got kicked to the side, Bayley herself was open and said that she doesn't believe she's on the level of Charlotte and Becky. But she does believe that she is one of the better wrestlers, and that she does have a pedigree, within the company. I mean, she is freaking Bayley, like I said. So, I mean, she is a freaking 4-horse woman, and she is a part of those 4 women that changed the wrestling business when they were called up from NXT to the main roster. So, like I said, does Bayley get enough credit for what she's done in the business? And what do you think Bayley could do to start getting more recognition?
I definitely agree that she doesn't get the flowers she's deserved, because she has done a lot of great things. Like you had said, she kind of changed the landscape of women's wrestling in WWE when she came up with Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. And she puts on great matches as well, and she's not afraid to do the high flying spots. I think the issue is on why she doesn't get the recognition she deserves, and I truly think it's because of how her character is. She came up and she was the hugger. Everyone loved that gimmick, and it went stale. So they did a heel turn, and that was perfect. Everyone fell in love with that again. And then she was kind of a tweener in between. Then they did the whole turn with Damage Control when she came back after that brief hiatus with Dakota Kai and Io Sky when they returned at SummerSlam. And that was good for a little bit. And then last year at WrestleMania, running the story of how she was getting kicked out of the group that she created and the sympathy, and she got her WrestleMania moment. But it goes in spurts for her, that the fans get invested with something new for her, but then it just kind of flattens out, or it gets stale, and they don't they don't care anymore. And I don't think it's that they don't care. It's just it's kind of repetition for her. The promos are usually the same. It's not depending on if she's a heel or a face. They're always the same promo, and it just I don't know it. That's just my observation for it. It's
Yeah,
everyone
I can
recognizes
see
her
that.
greatness. Everyone recognizes her greatness, but she gets lost in the shuffle because sometimes she does just get too generic and nothing totally stands out. Like Becky has the man, which honestly, in my opinion, I think that's way over. That's been overused for like the last 3 years, honestly. Um,
Facts.
but that's just my opinion. Charlotte Flair is Ric Flair's daughter. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And then there's Bayley. So
Yeah, I
like
mean,
how can she?
as she literally is. Well, see, I almost called her mankind in the 90s. Like she can be used in so many different ways, but like people adore Mick Foley though. Like we
Oh yeah.
adored Mick Foley. Like even when Mick Foley was pissed off at The Rock for thinking that he threw away his book or whatnot, they threw his book in the trash. Like people still love Mick Foley, and people love The Rock, but they were still rocking with Mick Foley. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it's hard to find a place for her where she fits. Like we know she's there with the four of them, but it's where is she there? It's almost like they're here and she's here.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, I don't know, man. She needs to do something that maybe just make her only hardcore matches so that she can be remembered that way. Because right now she's just kind of being remembered as she was a good, she was a really good wrestler, and that's about it. There's no promo that ever stuck out. The only thing that really stuck out to her was her WrestleMania moment and when she slashed the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guys when she first turned heel. NXT wise, she had some great moments.
Absolutely.
Like, don't get me wrong there. But ever since the main roster, it just has always felt like something has been missing for her. And she just goes in spurts of the fans get really invested in her, and then completes her story arc, but doesn't capitalize on it, and it just kind of falls flat after
Right.
that.
Yeah, man, and I think that is kind of the story of Bayley, and it sucks because she actually is a really great wrestler, you know, and a really great talent and things like that. But she's just overshadowed by all three of them. Like even Sasha, you know, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
she overshadows her. You know, it's their personalities and things like that. You know, so Bayley's another one that might actually benefit from going to AEW and really carving out her own way. You know,
Yep.
so I don't know, but we'll see. I think it's more likely that she ends up in TNA, especially since Indy Hartwell debuted tonight in TNA. So, like I said, we'll have to see at TNA Rebellion. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But folks, it's time for our favorite segment of the show. That's right. It's time for Frito's Fave 5.
Frito's favorite five. Not sponsored yet.
Presented presented by no one. All right. I'm gonna try to do my best Frito's version here. Virgil, will you hit my music?
Not bad. Not
There
bad.
we go. There we go. I'm gonna pop us in real quick. All right. Coming in at number 5, she retained her women's world championship against two surefire Hall of Famers, and she stamped her spot as a true main eventer. Number 5 is Io Sky. Guys, she's been killing it. She represented her country and her people at WrestleMania, and she is over like Rover right now. So shout out to Io Sky at number 5. At number 4, he's a dirty, dirty boy, and he is your new Intercontinental Champion, his first major singles title in WWE outside of the North American Championship in NXT. And Dirty Dom is winning in life. He has 2 women with him wherever he goes, and he is winning right now. That's right. Dom Mysterio is number 4. Number 3, coming in, she made her return at WrestleMania after spoofing everybody and telling everybody a couple nights before that she is no longer a wrestler. She made her return as the tag team partner, and they end up winning the Women's Tag Team Championships. Just started to turn around and turn heel the next night on Raw and beat the hell out of her partner. That's right, Becky Lynch. Hopefully she drops that man gimmick too.
Yes.
And coming in at number 2, I have he's all gas, no brakes. That's right, he is your new United States champion, and he put Solo Sikoa in his place. That's right, Yarami Fatu. Jacob Fatu in at number 2. And at number 1, the brand new 2-man power trip. They are going to run WWE for the next year. That's right. You got Seth freaking Rollins and Braun Breaker, managed by the best damn manager of all time, Paul Heyman. They hold the number 1 spot in this week's Fritos Fave 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how he always gets to throw so good with his paper. Like he just flings it. And
I know
like
he is good at that.
He does a really good job at that, man. Yeah. All right, what would you rate me?
I mean, very, very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I am really surprised you did not put John Cena on there.
But I told you at the beginning of the show, I gave you a spoiler alert. I hate this heel run, dude. It's horrible. I'm not enjoying this at all.
Very true. That is very true.
I'm like not enjoying this heel run that he's doing at all. Like it's every week he's flat on his ass. I mean, he took back-to-back crossroads from Cody in the build up to Mania, and then went for Monday night and Thursday night. I'm sorry, Monday night and Friday night. He got RKO'd. Like, bruh, like you're getting beat up. Like you ain't Shawn Michaels. You can't get your ass kicked and everybody still love you. Do something.
But that being said, very nicely done on your first list, with the Fritos Fave 5 or Virgil's Very 5, however you want to do that.
Here we go. Virgil's Very 5.
But I am going to give you a solid A for this one, Virgil.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Coach. I appreciate you for doing the show tonight with me, man. Dude, this is fun.
Yeah, this was a good show. I mean,
I'm gonna have to bump C. I'm gonna have to bump C on one of those Mondays and do a Monday with you, man. I forget how great of a tandem we are. Seriously, me and you haven't done the show, just me and you, in so long. And we're always missing each other. Like I said, because we're always missing each other. Like I said, on these episodes. So no, this is great, man. I really enjoyed this tonight.
Yeah, I did too, Virgil. It was a lot of fun. Great insight, as always, from you. And it was nice not getting any interruption from Fritos. And I hope he hears that.
Because he is good for that.
Because I want him to hear that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate you so much, Coach. Shout out to the WeBook It boys. Shout out to C, who is enjoying his birthday. C, your birthday's officially over. Put the bourbon down. Come back to the show. Fritos, shout out to Fritos. It was his bachelor party over the weekend. He went to Green Bay to deal with those nasty ass Green Bay Packers. And like I said, so he was there all weekend. That's why you didn't see him, and he'll be getting hitched here soon. So Fritos, put the alcohol down, come back to the show. And like I said, from Coach, from Virgil, from Fritos, from Big Daddy C, the We Book It boys. We appreciate you guys. Keep those booking pencils sharp and keep on booking.